I can't believe that we're finally here. My finished MX-5 project car, my ultimate MX-5 build, something that I waited for years to share with you guys. It's finally done. I cannot believe that this car is finally finished. Yes, I said the F word. It is finished. And I know that no project car is ever finished, but trust me on that. This is end of the line for this car. A car that I love, a car that has been with me for 20 years. And I have to thank my friends at Trackspeed for the patience. You cannot imagine how many hours have been in this car. So today we talk about cool upgrades. I'm going to talk about things that people have asked for years. Why you don't put a DAS? How can you know what RPM you are driving the car at? So we put a Haltech DAS on the car. I'm going to talk about performance stuff. And of course, the elephant in the room, the special color, and why we end up painting that car not once, but actually twice. And finally, where you can actually see this car, because this car is going to be at Frankfurt, at Automechanika, and I'm very happy to share this with other people finally in person. We are in Automechanika in Frankfurt, and my MX-5 is sitting at the stand at this show. If you told me like 19 years back in Greece when I picked up this car that one day it's gonna be like in a car show, a track car in a car show, I don't know how that makes sense, but thanks to the beautiful people at HB Body, thanks to Vasilis, thanks to Marisa, thanks to all the guys at their body shop that put like countless hours in this car. If you know this car and you have seen it like in person, it was a very rough car. The panel gaps were horrible. It is the same color, but it has been painted for a second time to be like, to show standards. For me, the transformation is like out of this world. Like, I cannot believe that this is the same car that I drove like a few years back around the Nürburgring. I cannot wait to share with you like the behind the scenes. There's a cool video by my friend Stavros. There's all this cool stuff that happened in order for this car to be like that. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit terrified to take something looking that beautiful out on track, but at the same time, I think this is a beautiful ending of a very big chapter of my life. For the last 19 years, I have been trying to perfect that car, and I think it finally looks as well the part. The mechanical part was great, and after the guys at Trackspeed finished their work, it's even better, but now it also looks the part, and I think that's a beautiful closure to a very, very long journey. And at the same time, here in the stand, it's sitting with something that couldn't be more different. This is a MX-5 that has nothing stock, not a single bolt, everything has been changed. And down there is a Land Rover Series 1 that is absolutely beautifully OEM. It has the stock engine and it is a beautiful restoration. An MX-5 and a Land Rover Series 1 could not be more different by themselves, but at their current stage, with this car completely modified and that car completely OEM, it's a beautiful contrast, and I cannot thank the guys for putting this car next to something that beautiful. I'm gonna let Steve say a little bit like his story because it's very interesting.
Hi, so I'm Steve, technical manager for HB Body UK Limited. This is the vehicle that I rebuilt over the course of about 8 to 9 years. It started off as a barn find. My wife, when she first saw it, was really surprised and was hoping and praying that I wouldn't buy it, but I had a vision. So over the course of the 8 years, I fitted a new chassis to it, and once I got the new chassis, I thought I'm going to build this the way I want to build it. It's been done to a very, very high standard. I wanted to keep all the original running gear, so taking it back down to the bare bones, sent the engine away to be rebuilt, but that's the only part of the vehicle that was done by someone else. Everything else was done by myself, every nut, bolt, screw, rivet. I got to a point where I thought the inside be as nice as the outside, same finish on the underside of the vehicle as well. If you look at the cargo compartment, I tried to keep that to the same standard as the outside of the vehicle. The doors I had to replace, they were falling apart, but everything else you see is original. I had to build a new floor and box sections in the back because they were falling apart. The company I work for, obviously it's their products that I've used on it, hence why I've had the complete honour, and I'm going to say honour, of being able to have that vehicle present at Automechanika in Germany. Not in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine it would be here. You've got companies from all over the world. I'm extremely grateful for them to showcase this as the work that I've been able to achieve. I'm over the moon. Was it fun building it? Sometimes, sometimes not. Did I have problems putting it together? Immense problems putting it together. It was really a labour of love, and this is the final result.
And again, like the story of this car, it is a little bit more about the stories of the owners than the actual cars themselves. This car wouldn't be this car if it hasn't been with me for the last 19 years and has done all these things that you have seen. It is the final chapter for that car, and I think it would be fitting that the final chapter, it's here at something that I never thought that the car would do, and the car looks like that. Again, I want to thank everyone at HB Body, Vasilis, Marisa, Labros at Track Speed, because without them, they couldn't do this whole thing. And I hope in the next video I can tell you why this is the last chapter of that car. But that on the next video. I know what you're thinking. The car now looks all sexy and we are at a car show and we're talking about the paint and this and that, but this is one lap heroes, and eventually we will have to talk about performance, because the number one reason that I did this rebuild was actually to refresh the car. So number one thing is the cage and welding the body. You saw this more in the previous episode, but let's talk about the other stuff. I mentioned in the start of the episode the dash, and for me the Haltech IC7 dash used, it's a very special product. In my humble opinion, it is the best dash on the market. A few years back, when it was first introduced, it was more of like a passive thing. It was just a device that would actually show you data from your ECU. But these days, the dash is a bit of a master unit. You can control it from the Haltech software. It can drive a PDM. Unfortunately, when I started this build, it was coming, but it was not possible. So I went with a different brand PDM. Today, this device can actually drive Haltech's own PDM, and if you look a little bit online, you can see that the dash has some amazing things that it can do. We're just scraping the surface, like we're using it here for simple stuff, but it can actually control all your switches, it can communicate with many different ECUs. Long story short, if you want to put a dash in a Miata or any other car, this is probably the most complete product, both from software, but also the quality of the product, how bulletproof and reliable it is, the big buttons, physical buttons that you can use. And Haltech as a company, they are amazing people. This is not sponsored, but they are honestly amazing people. Go watch their Haltech Heroes series. They support grassroots racers. They love tuning. They are amazing people. I would personally not put any other dash in any of my cars other than Haltech. That is that. I actually used also like a Mako Motorsport 3D printed mount to put it in the cluster of a Miata. That is for me the cleanest install you can have for a dash. You can of course do other stuff and there is like DIY things, but for the money, I think this is honestly the best dash you can put in your Miata or basically in any car like that. That is that. Now let's talk a little bit about the chassis and the manual brakes and the handling and all this stuff. Of course, the idea was to refresh the chassis and put like fresh uniballs everywhere. And that is not something I have a lot of things to tell you. Basically, we just removed all rubber from the car and we updated the thing with V8 Roadsters parts. You have seen some of that before. Something that is a little bit of a tricky thing was the conversion to the manual brakes. I went for a system from Comp Brakes that basically removes the servo and it gives you two small masters that run separately the systems and a balance bar. It's a proper motorsport setup. Now, what is actually missing is maybe fine-tuning that system to my specific brake kit. This is a system that comes for the OEM brakes, and I have to say that out of the box, it doesn't exactly run right on the Miata. However, in the future, the idea was also to combine this with a Motorsport ABS. Something like a Boss would be ideal, but Continental has also like a very cool product. I honestly believe that this specific car with a Motorsport grade ABS, it would be like a game changer. It would really unlock a lot of speed. Again, both things, both the DAS and the Motorsport ABS thing, have two very interesting videos from a channel that I absolutely love, High Performance Academy. I'm gonna link two videos maybe in the description so you can actually go and see a bit more about what we are also watching when we're building these cars. Now, we probably owe you some video of the car being used in anger, and that will eventually happen. But I want to repeat again that as far as the channel goes, this build series is complete. If you let me loose, I would probably keep developing this car for the next 10 years. I would probably add turbos or do a different engine swap. I have ideas for days, but this is not happening, and it is for a good reason. I recommend you stay tuned and you visit next week at exactly the same time, at exactly the same place, and you're gonna see why. It is for a good reason. Moment of truth. Yes, no?
Let's say that there is stuff to do.